Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. All persons having anything to do before the Honorable, the Justice E. Susan Gosh of the Superior Court, now sitting at Fall River within and for the Commonwealth. Draw near, give your attendance, and you shall be heard. God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Court is in session. Be seated, please.
Yes, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Today is Thursday, March 26, 2015. The case on trial is Commonwealth versus Aaron Hernandez, indictment BRCR 2013-0983. The Honorable E. Susan Garsh presiding.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Have any of you seen or heard or read or overheard anything at all about this case or Mr. Hernandez since our last inquiry? There are no affirmative responses. Have any of you discussed this case or Mr. Hernandez by any means with anyone since our last inquiry? There are no affirmative responses. And have any of you had any difficulty following my instructions not to talk about the case, not to research the case, not to communicate in any way about the case, or listen to anything about this case, or Mr. Hernandez, or anything you think could be relevant to the case? There are no affirmative responses. The witness may resume the stand.
This way now.
Ma'am, I remind you that you're still under oath. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Thank you.
May, Your Honor.
May.
Good morning again, ma'am.
Good morning.
I think where we left off the other day, I was showing you some video clips.
Yes.
And, Your Honor, with the court's permission, if I could play from Exhibit 150. That would be at camera 13, 1207. Ma'am, again, I just ask you to watch the monitor to your left. Thank you.
Okay.
Your Honor, if we could go to camera 14. At 12:07. Your Honor, if we could go to camera 3, 12:39, please. Ma'am, do you recognize any of the people that you've seen in the last few minutes on the video?
Yes.
Who do you recognize?
Bo, Charlie, Aaron, and Cheyenne.
Okay. And Your Honor, if we could go to 108 to camera 3, please. Okay. And if we could now go to camera 3 at 3:26. If we could go to camera 11 at 1:48, please. I'm sorry, this is now one. Yes, this is the afternoon of June 17th at 1:48, camera 11. See anyone you recognize there, ma'am?
Aaron, I can't make out who's laying down, and I think that's Charlie.
I'm sorry, if you could just say it a little louder so we can hear you.
I said, I think the one that's putting on the head thing is Charlie, Aaron, AVL. And that could be Bo laying
Well,
down, but I'm not sure.
to speculate.
Okay. Can you see the child there, ma'am?
Yes,
Do you know who's holding the child?
I can't see their face clearly.
Okay. Can you see where the child is at this time, ma'am?
Yes.
Object to this final question.
Objection is sustained.
Do you recognize anybody else in the video at this time?
Bo? Objection sustained.
And Your Honor, if we could go to camera 4, 2:25
Me.
system time. Thank you. And the last one, Your Honor, if we could go to camera 3, 5:12 system
Me.
time to 5:15. Ma'am, you watched all that video?
Yes.
And did you observe any conduct that was consistent with what you had earlier described of Bo and Carlos Ortiz?
The difference is that
I'm just asking, did you observe it first?
I don't understand.
Okay. You watched all those videos, and you had previously described certain conduct of Bo and Carlos or Charlie Boy, right?
Yes.
When they were smoking PCP or under the influence of PCP?
Well, I don't know if they were, but they were acting differently.
Okay. And when Mr. Rankin asked you, you indicated act crazy, erratic, argumentative, would sometimes just scream like, I don't know, mumbo-jumbo like it wasn't English?
Yes.
Okay. Did you observe any conduct in the video consistent with what you had observed in the past?
Not in the ones I saw today, no.
Okay. And after Mr. Rankin had asked you about that, he asked you a question. Did you see either Bo or Charlie sweating profusely? Do you remember that?
Yes.
And you answered both of them.
Yes.
Okay, and this was just the other day, is that right?
Yes.
And he then asked you, well, tell us about that. And you said they were just real jittery, sweating. I know Charlie Boy had a washcloth or towel, and he wiped his face with it. And Bo, I believe he took his shirt and wiped his face with his shirt where it could have been a towel.
Yes.
Remember saying that the other day?
Yes.
And you remembered that, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember being asked similar questions at the grand jury?
No.
Okay. Do you remember being asked, oh, I'm sorry, this is 315 at page 13. 315, yes. 3-315 at page 13, line 9. 15, I believe. I'm sorry. Maybe I see. Yes, page 13, line 9. And on that date, ma'am, you were asked, do you know whether they were consuming drugs that night? And your answer, not sure. Question, okay. Answer, I mean, they did it often. Question, but you didn't have a specific occasion to get close enough to them or talk to them. Answer, no. Question, to make an assessment? Answer, no. Do you remember making those statements under oath at the grand jury?
If it's on paper, then yes, I said it.
Okay. And, in fact, you didn't see Mr. Wallace, how they were behaving, Mr. Wallace and Mr. Ortiz that night. Is that true?
No, that's not.
You didn't see their faces, did you?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Well, this is now September 25th at page 75 at line 10. On that date, you were asked, could you tell if they were high? Did they seem high that night? You answered, I don't know because I wasn't that close to them. I was at the door. They were already at the car, so it was a little bit of distance. So I couldn't tell, like, what their, what's the word, like, how they were acting. I couldn't see their face or their eyes or anything. Do you remember making that statement?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the other day you told this jury that you observed them, you described conduct. Is that right? You described seeing them.
I said that they were sweating and that they wiped their face with a towel or a cloth.
Okay. But back at the grand jury, and apparently your memory was, you had
I'm going to
this.
ask you not to make comments.
Okay.
May inquire.
Did you remember this the other day?
Overruled.
Were you able to remember that the other day?
Yes.
Okay. And you would agree with me, September 25th, 2013 was how long ago?
2 years ago?
Okay. Was your memory better at that time?
Overruled.
No. But you always told me that if ever I recalled anything to say what I recalled, so I recalled it, so
Okay.
I said it.
So 2 years later, you now recall this, is that right?
Yes.
And you recall, although you couldn't see the face back in September 25th of 2013, you now have testified before this jury about a towel being put to the face.
Correct. I assumed that they were sweating because they wiped their faces off.
Okay, so you were just assuming that?
Yes,
Okay, well, the question to you by Mr. Rankin was, were they not just sweating, were they sweating profusely? And you answered both of them. So that was just an assumption?
yes,
Okay. And it is now your memory that you could see their face?
I could see their faces, yes.
Okay. And you also, the other day, when you were being questioned, you indicated, would you agree with me, you had never mentioned any towel, seeing a towel that night with either one of, either Bo or Carlos?
No, I don't think so.
And have you, since the time of this case first starting, did you learn some significance of a towel in the case?
No, but Charlie Boy always had a towel with him.
Okay. So have you talked to anybody about a towel?
No,
And have you ever talked to any of the attorneys or anybody working on the attorney's behalf?
no,
Okay. And so the other day when I asked you who else you had spoken to, is there anybody else that you've spoken to about this matter?
no.
So this memory that you had about the wiping of the face with the towel, when did you first have that memory? Was that here in court the other day?
No,
Okay.
I had recalled that before.
Okay. How long ago, ma'am?
I don't know. I don't remember when I actually remembered that. I don't recall.
Okay. And do you recall being asked, and this would be at, on March 5th, on page 49, line 23, that you were asked at the grand jury, with regard to any other information about Mr. Wallace or Mr. Ortiz regarding this matter, something we haven't covered, do you have any other information that you would understand would be appropriate to share with this grand jury, understanding what their obligation is in investigating this matter? Do you remember being asked that?
No, but I'm sure you did if it's on the paper.
Okay. Well, did you provide any information about the towel?
I don't remember.
Did you provide any information about wiping the face?
I don't believe so. I don't remember.
Did you provide any information, as you did the other day, about how they were behaving, jittery?
I don't remember if I did or not.
And it's your testimony you haven't spoken to anybody about that behavior?
No.
If I could have a moment, Your Honor, please. And ma'am, the other day when you mentioned the smell of burning plastic, you had never mentioned that at the grand jury, had you?
No.
I have nothing further. Thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Mercado.
Good morning.
Mr. McCauley asked you some questions about your appearance in the grand jury.
Yes.
All that. How many times were you in the grand jury? 2 times?
Yeah, I believe so.
September 25th, 2013,
Yes.
and once on March 5th, 2014.
Yes.
And when you were there, Mr. McCauley asked you lots and lots and lots of questions,
Yes.
and you did your best to answer them.
Yes, I did.
And did Mr. McCauley ask you anything about Charlie Boy having a towel
No.
in either grand jury session?
Not that I remember.
And do you recall that you testified on Tuesday that as you were walking your dog on Father's Day evening,
Yes.
you saw Bo and Charlie Boy outside,
Correct.
correct? And am I correct in understanding that you did not see them smoking angel dust?
Correct.
And I think you testified that the behavior that you observed was consistent with what you had previously seen them behaving in the spring of 2013 when they were under the influence of angel dust.
Correct.
And am I correct that the things that you saw that were, in your mind, consistent with the way they behaved in the spring of 2013 under the influence of angel dust, was that they were wiping themselves and seemed to be sweating?
Correct. Correct.
And they seemed to be jittery, correct?
Correct.
And am I correct that you didn't testify on Tuesday that you saw their eyes dilated on that evening, correct?
No, I did not.
Now, Mr. McCauley showed you a number of video clips this morning. Remember that?
Yes.
And in the spring of 2013, when you observed Ortiz and Wallace under the influence of angel dust, did they always exhibit this erratic, or I think you used the word crazy behavior, or was that only at times when they were under the influence?
Just at times when they were under the influence.
Okay. One moment, Your Honor. Thank you, Mr. McCauley.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You may sit down.
Thank you.
If I could call Jody Webb, please.